Okay, it's been 100 years since World War I, so let's spend a little time talking about it. After all, it was the war to end all wars, right? So many history books will tell us that a Serbian dissident's assassination of Archduke Ferdinand and his wife Sophie in June of 1914 was to blame for World War I. So let's take a look at events between June and August of 1914 after the assassination. First of all, Austria-Hungary threatens Serbia. Serbia is a little country to its south. Russia then attacks Austria-Hungary for threatening Serbia. Well, Germany attacks Russia for attacking Austria-Hungary, and thus France decides they're going to attack Germany. Britain then comes in on the side of France. Italy decided they were going to be neutral, at least for right now. Finally, the Ottoman Empire and Bulgaria join the side of Austria-Hungary and Germany. At this point, you've got to be wondering, one assassin's bullet caused all that to happen? Made all those dominoes fall and brought all of Europe into World War I? There's got to be more to the story. And in my estimation, indeed, there is a lot more to the story. What really started it was ism. And you're wondering, what is ism? Well, let's start out with these two isms. Now, right now, I want you to pause the video and I want you to read the definitions. So we're back. And you can tell colonialism and imperialism closely related. It is where a more powerful country takes over a less powerful country. Notice the map of Africa and notice the competition that appears to be going on in Africa. Only two countries in Africa are not under the domination of a country from Europe. Notice the red. That is Great Britain. They've got a large chunk of Africa. Notice the light brown. That's France. They've got a large chunk of Africa. Notice the very lightest brown. That's Germany. They're falling behind France and England. Alright, here's two more isms. Nationalism and patriotism. And once again, I just want to pause the video, let you read the definitions, and we'll be back in a second. We're back. So, after taking a look at these, you can see that once again these two are closely related. Notice that both clearly involved how someone feels about their own country, the pride of being a citizen of a particular country. But notice nationalism says it's where people share a common language, a culture. They may feel like they should be their own country. That was not a problem in France, Germany, or Great Britain. But let's take a look at Austria-Hungary. This is Austria-Hungary in 1910. And all the different colors represent all the different cultures or languages or nationalities. So while Germany and France and Britain were for the most part united as one people, Austria-Hungary was having a hard time keeping itself together or keeping a cooperative atmosphere. And it's really not a surprise that the Archduke was murdered on his visit to the area called Bosnia in the south by a group of separatists who wanted to move that area called Bosnia-Herzegovina into the same country as Serbia. The next ism is militarism. In contrast to nationalism and patriotism, which oftentimes is generated by the people, by the citizenry, militarism comes from the top. Militarism comes from the leaders. And they don't have to be military leaders. They can be civilian leaders. The leaders use militarism to generate patriotism and nationalism, giving the people the biggest battleship or the biggest army. Take a look at the chart in the upper right. This is the increase in military spending from 1890 to 1910. As you can see, 3 out of those 5 countries right there more than doubled their military expenditure. France was close to doubling it, and it is clear that in the 25-year period leading up to World War I, these 5 major powers within Europe were on a military buildup. The motive clearly was competition with the next guy. So our next ism isn't really an ism, but we're going to make it an ism. It's going to be called allianceism, because there were secret alliances made among powers before World War I. One of the alliances involved the United Kingdom, France, and Russia. The other alliance involved Italy, Austria-Hungary, and Germany. There was also a minor alliance with Serbia and Montenegro, right to the south of Austria-Hungary. They were allies of Russia. So what is an alliance? An alliance is a promise that if you're attacked, I will come to your rescue, as long as if I'm attacked, you'll come to mine. So before World War I, here were these alliances, here were these commitments already established. So that when Austria-Hungary threatened Serbia, well, Russia was obligated to come to their aid. When Russia threatened Austria-Hungary, well, Germany was obligated to come to their aid. And of course, when Germany came to the aid of Austria-Hungary against Russia, France and the United Kingdom were obligated to join in also. So let's take a look at what isms can cause. This is the casualty report for World War I. And go right down to the bottom line, grand totals. 8,500,000 killed. 21 million wounded. Total casualties, 37,500,000. But the horrifying figure to me is that one lower right. 57.6% of mobilized. What that means is, if you went to war, you had more than half a chance of being either killed, wounded, or missing. So we've discussed these isms that started World War I. World War I was destined to get going no matter what, because of all of these competitive isms. But did we miss any? I'm sure you could think of some. I've had a couple that I was thinking also. Industrialism or industrialization. The buildup of materials, of weapons. Industry is just having a great time building tanks and submarines and machine guns. Of course, if you've got the capability of creating these weapons, well, any good general or admiral is going to find a way to use them. Also, there's capitalism, because if you've got these industrialists who are making all these weapons, surely they're not making them for free. And so somebody's going to be looking to make a profit. With the right propaganda and the right message and the right spin on the information, and saying the lie over and over, a leader would be able to move the people towards thinking, yes, we're being threatened. And finally, there clearly was not enough skepticism. There was not enough people asking the questions, do we really need to do this? Well, that's my opinion as far as how World War I started. Thanks. Bye now.